In the past, I used to be this person who always had his notes incomplete, his assignments were due, and I only used to study just a couple of days before exams. As a result, I had pretty awful grades. And this wasn't because I was not ambitious. I had a laundry list of things that I wanted to do. I wanted to learn how to code, I wanted to lift weights at the gym, I wanted to read a bunch of books, but I simply just could not get myself to do those things. In short, I was a serial procrastinator, but that isn't who I am anymore. My name is Jibreal Khan, and I've been a software engineer at Fortune 500 companies like AMD, Dell Technologies, Synopsys. Additionally, I was one of the top performing students in my bachelor's and my master's programs in one of the toughest disciplines, that is software engineering. And I was able to do all of these things while lifting weights and learning martial arts 6 days a week. My goal is to help men quit procrastination and live up to their full potential. I listed some of these accomplishments not to brag, but just hoping that my personal transformation lends some credibility to what I'm about to say next. This video isn't going to be some clickbaity entertainment video where I tell you about the Pomodoro technique or some other quick 5-minute hack that claims to change your life. No, because I don't think that these things work in the long run. I've been a serial procrastinator myself, I've been in the war zone, I've tried out hundreds of things, and what I found was that 99% of these things that popular influencers tell you about, they simply do not work all that well, but they make fun videos to watch. In this video, I'm actually going to talk about the 1% of things that actually do work really well. They flipped my life around, and I'm hoping that they would flip your life around too. Looking back at my life in the past, I realized that I used to just wake up each day and live my life based on my mood, my emotion, my desires. I did things if I felt like doing them and when I felt like doing them. I had no plan, no routine, no systems, no rule. It was just entirely dependent on my mood. If I woke up feeling motivated, I would read 5 chapters of a book in a single sitting and work out for 2 hours that day. But if I woke up feeling lazy, then the entire day I would just sit around doing nothing, lying on the sofa and eating shitty food. In short, I was a slave to my mood and I had no control over it. It was entirely random. For quite a while I thought that if only I could just stay in a motivated mood all the time, then I could be productive every single day. So what I would do is that I would watch a lot of these motivational YouTube transformation type of videos to just hype me up. Or I would try these stimulating substances like coffee or Red Bull. And to be honest with you, these things did work a bit. For the next 3 or 4 days, I would be quite disciplined and productive. But then that raw motivation used to fade away because motivation is a limited resource and eventually it does get depleted. And once this motivation ran out, I gave up on those productive things. And this wasn't something that just happened once or twice. This cycle of getting motivated and doing productive things, and then a couple of days later losing that motivation and procrastinating, must have occurred for more than 10 years of my life. So I finally gave up and came to the conclusion that an emotions-based approach does not work and motivation is just temporary mental orgasms. So I then started looking for alternatives. I would read self-help books, I would watch all these podcasts on neurology and psychology, and that is when I discovered the power of having a routine. Now I already know what some of you are thinking. A routine has probably never worked for you. I get it. You must have tried it before, but just hear me out. You see, when you write the time and the location of any particular activity, I realized that you're much more likely to do that activity regardless of how you're feeling. For example, once I actually started writing down the time and place for, let's say, my workouts, like I'm going to work out tomorrow at 5 p.m. at the gym, I realized that my body began to be psychologically and physiologically prepared for that activity. Previously, what used to happen was that since I didn't have a task listed down for any particular moment, my body was never ready for the thing that I was supposed to do. It didn't expect it to come. But ever since I started noting down the time and the place for that particular activity, I just remember looking at my schedule and looking at the activity that lies ahead and subconsciously getting ready for that activity. If I knew that I had to lift the weights at 5 p.m., I found myself getting hyped up and getting ready by 4:45. If I knew that I had to read a book at 4 p.m., at 3:45, I was ready organizing my desk, figuring out where the book is. And that is just so powerful. When you can eliminate the friction of these activities by doing certain things in advance before that activity. The second thing that I realized with living my life by a routine is that I do not have to make decisions about what I should be doing at the moment. As soon as I wake up, all I literally have to do is look at a piece of paper and I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing right now. All I have to do is blindly follow that thing rather than debate thousands and thousands of thoughts that are coming to me in that moment. I don't have to choose between those thousands of things. I just have to blindly follow that one thing that is on my routine. And this absence of decision making saves you so much psychological energy. And now this psychological energy can instead be used in starting the task which you had planned on your routine. I know that some of you are probably thinking that routines just feel a bit restrictive. I feel like I'm in chains, there is no spontaneity in my life, I feel very bored, it's too much of scheduling. That's because people design routines like prison cells. They just fill them up with activity after activity after activity. And no, that is not what a routine is supposed to be about. A routine is supposed to show you what your ideal, fun, happy, satiating day is supposed to look like. So I literally schedule fun times in my routine, that I'm going to watch a documentary from this hour to that hour. I'm going to talk to my friends from this hour to that hour. I'm going to have this social event from this hour to that hour. This is what a routine is supposed to be about. Of course, there are productive activities in there, but you also need to schedule breaks so that you're not scared of your own routine. Because the number of times I have quit my own routine because it just seemed too much of a mountain to climb, it's just too many to count. So don't make your routine a prison cell, don't make it a mountain, keep it fun, keep it light, at least initially. As you get more efficient at following your routine, you can then start making it a bit more restricted, a bit more intense. I come from a software engineering background, and the companies that I've worked for had this concept of sprints. A sprint is just a period of 2 weeks, and in this period you would be given a few tasks that you would try to get done within those 2 weeks. And all you now had to do was just focus on those 1 or 2 tasks for those 2 weeks. And you would not have to be required to think about doing anything else. All other things were now considered distraction. And I found this strategy so effective. Firstly, because 2 weeks seems like a short enough period so you can actually see the finish line. And when you can actually see the finish line, your body just naturally wants to push harder. If you've ever run a long distance race like a 10K or a half marathon, once you're at the final 1 kilometer, or you can actually see the finish line, then your body just unlocks this extra bit of energy. So you can actually leverage this principle in your day-to-day life too. Live your life in sprints and set up 1 or 2 goals for each sprint. Maybe this sprint I'm going to finish reading a particular book, or this sprint I'm going to post at least 4 videos on YouTube. This sprint I'm going to finish this personal project of mine. Regarding the duration of the sprint, I have found that 2 weeks works the best for me. This is long enough for me to get big chunks of work done on one singular project, yet short enough for me to see the finish line, really stay energetic throughout the process, and keep things fresh. But you can also experiment with 1 week long sprints or 3 week long sprints. I've used them in the past for certain projects, and I've got good results from them.